Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another one of our seminars here at the American Hellenic Institute. And of course, good evening to our friends overseas in Greece. My name is Nick Larigakis, president of the American Hellenic Institute. On behalf of the AHI, our nonprofit independent Greek American Policy Center here in Washington, D.C., it is my pleasure to welcome you to this edition of our virtual speakers presentation, which today is in the form of a webinar. I'm very honored to announce that our webinar today is also being presented in cooperation with our good friends at Enterprise Greece, which are based in Athens. Our presentation today, Explore Greece, Land of Investment Opportunity, is very timely as Greece continues to garner widespread interest for investments. While the Greek economic crisis lasted between 2010 and 2020, and during the depth of this crisis, commentators essentially said that Greece could not emerge from the crisis, but could only, and I quote, kick the can down the road, end quote. They were wrong. In 2024, the Greek economic growth rate is above the EU average. Greece has introduced a series of economic institutional reforms to foster growth and development and attract serious foreign direct investment and interest across all sectors. Further, specific measures such as the adoption of a fast-track mechanism for strategic investments and the establishment of the Enterprise Greece, of which we are here with today, were introduced to facilitate the implementation of investment projects. AHI is interested in encouraging FDI from the United States and Greece, and we are pleased that the U.S. Department of State report on Greece for 2024 describes a vibrant Greek economy and very favorable conditions for U.S. FDI. On a side note, although the American Hellenic Institute today, its main core mission is the geostrategic interest between the United States, Greece, and Cyprus, the founders in 1974 established the organization as its core mission at that time to promote investment, trade, and commerce between the United States and Greece. So many of you may not be aware, when no one else was talking about or hosting any conferences on doing business in Greece, between 1975 and the late 1980s, we hosted 13 such conferences in New York City, and we published 3 massive volumes on doing business in Greece. I'm also happy to add that during the economic crisis of Greece, and looking for ways for us how we can help Greece during that difficult time, we worked with the predecessor to the Development Finance Corporation, which is called DFC now, but back then it was called the Overseas Private Investment Corporation. And working with them and with our friends on Capitol Hill, we were able to get Greece on the OPIC map at that time to facilitate investments to Greece from the United States. So we do take pride in our small role in trying to help this issue. We look forward to hearing from our speakers, who will be discussing in greater details these opportunities, led by our moderator, Dr. George Tsatekos. However, to get us started also, we are very honored to have with us and to provide some remarks, the wonderful, the fantastic, the dynamic ambassador of Greece to the United States, which just last week spent an entire week at the UN General Assembly with the Prime Minister of Greece and all the massive meetings that they had in New York. And I'm just here to tell you that she's doing a tremendous job here in Washington and advocating and to promoting for her country's relationship with this country, and always with a smile. And she's smiling right now. And it is a pleasure to welcome you, Madam Ambassador, my good friend, Ekaterini Nassika, to this webinar today.
So thank you so much. What an uplifting introduction. Thank you very, very much. And I congratulate you on this initiative, and ευχαριστώ Enterprise Greece for what you're doing. This is great, and it is a real pleasure to address you today on the occasion of the joint initiative between AHI and Enterprise Greece, showcasing Greece's newly enhanced investment framework and the numerous investment opportunities the country now offers. Greece and the United States are strategic partners with strong and long-standing economic ties. Bilateral economic and trade relations have evolved steadily over the years, while still presenting considerable potential for further developments. In 2023, the bilateral trade volume stood at 3.8 billion, with a 300 million trade surplus for Greece, making the United States the fifth most important customer and the 14th most important supplier of Greece for that year. Preliminary data for the current year shows an impressive increase in the bilateral trade volume, which is expected to surpass $4.5 billion, with Greek exports increasing at a pace of over 10%. As Greek-American relations are currently at their highest point in history, the positive economic developments and prospects in Greece have generated increased American interest for new investments in the country. Google, Cisco, Amazon, and Microsoft, to name a few, are helping to turn Greece into a regional hub for data management and storage, while other companies like, for instance, Pfizer, JP Morgan, and Deloitte are enhancing their presence, taking advantage of the existing high-quality Greek human capital. Equally important, a host of Greek companies are expanding their footprint in the United States. A maritime power of global magnitude, Greece is proud to have more than 25 Greek-owned shipping companies listed at NASDAQ and New York Stock Exchange. 2024 has proven to be a milestone year for Greek entrepreneurship, with Hellenic Cables, one of Europe's largest cable producers, entering the construction phase for its production unit in Baltimore and Maryland. In the meantime, Titan America, the US subsidiary of Titan Group, a multinational cement and building materials producer, is proceeding well with its listing in the US equity market, expected to take place in the first quarter of next year. We aspire to increase the Greek business presence in the United States, and we invite companies and investment funds from the United States to invest in Greece. And here I'm confident that our Greek-American community can play a very important role. The United States remains an important foreign investor in Greece, ranking 7th in FDI flows for 2022. We would like to invite further investments in energy, and we include their green economy sectors, renewable energy sources, environmental management, together with water, for instance, and waste management and recycling, biotechnology, chemicals, information and communication technologies, industry, health services, pharmaceuticals, logistics, financial services, and real estate. A few weeks ago, on the sidelines of the Thessaloniki International Fair, the Greek government announced further incentives for investment, particularly in technology and innovation. The Golden Visa residency program, which previously focused on real estate investments, has been updated in order to encourage investment in startups and tech companies. Now, investors who contribute 250,000 euros or more to a Greek startup will qualify for a... So that was just a little hiccup for an amazing initiative, and I wish you the best, and thank you very, very much.
Thank you, Madam Ambassador. We appreciate you taking time from your very busy schedule to be with us today, and we certainly look forward to seeing you very soon. So have a good day. Feel free to stay with us if you like, but...
Of course. tomorrow. And thank you very much.
We'll
I
see
will
you
see you
tomorrow.
tomorrow.
Absolutely. Our next speaker to offer remarks of welcome, Ms. Betty Alexandropoulos is a board member of Enterprise Greece, but unfortunately, due to a last-minute scheduling conflict, she's not able to be with us, but she was able to record some remarks that we will play now via video. So if we can please have Ms. Alexandropoulos' video remarks shown.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is a real pleasure to be here with you today at such an exciting time for Greece. Let me extend a warm welcome on behalf of the Trade and Investment Promotion Agency of the Greek state, Enterprise Greece, where I am a board member. I would like to thank Nick Larigakis and everyone at the American Hellenic Institute for co-organizing this webinar, inviting you to explore the opportunities that Greece offers to savvy investors. Let me start by saying that Greece's economic trajectory stands as a testament to resilience and progress. Over the past decade, Greece weathered back-to-back crises with direct consequences for its national economy. However, in the recent years, Greece has made great strides. Greek bonds have returned to investment grade. The country is maintaining an impressive growth rate, currently the second highest in the European Union. The banks are healthy, and the Greek government is paying tranches of debt ahead of schedule. And that is not all. The story of Greece today is truly the story of a new era for the country, with a new outlook and new opportunities opening in many directions. This is a new Greece, one of transformation and exciting possibilities. Sweeping reforms, an ambitious Green Deal, and significant investment in digital communication, energy, and transportation infrastructure are creating sustainable growth and diversification of the Greek economy. The traditional drivers of the economy, namely tourism, shipping, and our delicious food products, are now joined by high-tech, pharmaceuticals, and logistics, to name a few growth sectors coming to the fore. Greece is successfully leveraging its highly educated and multilingual workforce, its extremely advantageous geostrategic location, and the growing trend in Europe to develop a homegrown industrial base. Furthermore, Greece's role in Southeast Europe and the East Mediterranean has been enhanced enormously. The country has become a pillar of stability in the region, a beacon of democracy, and with expanded security cooperation with the United States. Next year, Greece will also begin a 2-year term as a member of the UN Security Council. As a result, international investors are increasingly deciding that Greece is the place to be. Over the last few years, large multinationals have invested in data centers, in R&D hubs, green energy, startups, pharmaceuticals, and logistics parks. These new opportunities for productive investment continue to grow, and with them, the importance of Greece as a regional hub for innovation, energy, life sciences, and logistics. Soon, Greece will be home to new data centers by Amazon, Google, Microsoft, and others, as well as new high-speed data connections to the Middle East and Asia, which will support continued growth in the Greek tech and innovation sector. Already, a range of international companies have established innovation hubs in Greece, and we will hear from one of them, Hewlett-Packard, later in today's program. Over the last 5 years, more than 1.5 billion euros have also been invested in Greek pharmaceutical production, and Greece now supplies 50% of the oncology drugs, as well as 25% of the penicillin in Europe. And big multinational investors like AHI Capital and IKEA are developing logistics facilities just outside of Athens to take advantage of one of the largest cargo ports in Europe, one which will further boost Greece's position as a supply hub to the continent. These are just few examples of what is happening in the new Greece. In the upcoming panel discussion, you will receive a fuller and more detailed picture of the opportunities. At this point, I'd like to reiterate the pivotal role of Enterprise Greece. Formerly as its executive director for close to 5 years, and now as its board member, I'd like to share its mission: to promote Greek products and services globally and provide foreign investors with unwavering support at every step of their investment journey. Our organization is here to assist in every way possible, including through our Fast Track program for strategic investments, which offers many attractive incentives to our investors. Overall, Enterprise Greece provides a one-stop shop that will guide your investment project from initial exploration to successful implementation. So at this point, I wish you a great webinar and look forward to exploring Greece's boundless opportunities together. Thank you.
We'd like to thank Ms. Alexandropoulou for sending in that video message, and we hope to have a chance to interact with her live on another occasion. At this time, now we're going to turn our attention to our panel. And it is with great pleasure, of course, to welcome the moderator of this panel. So what can I say about my very good and longtime friend, George Tsitsekos? He's a very accomplished person, so he deserves a good introduction as best as I possibly can, George. George serves as the Francis Professor of Finance and Dean Emeritus at Drexel's LeBeau College of Business, which is in Philadelphia. During his 10-year deanship from 2002 to 2012, he elevated the college's national standing and spearheaded the inception of renowned centers in corporate governance and strategic leadership. Dr. Tsitsekos' extensive academic research covers the areas of corporate finance, investments, and international finance. Dr. Tsitsekos has served on the board of the Federal Reserve Bank of Philadelphia, the World Trade Center, and other organizations, and has chaired the board of the Global Interdependence Center. He has also served in consultant and advisory capacities in several organizations, including the World Bank and the Security and Exchange Commission. Currently, he is the chairman of REVL Capital Group and partner of Lexard Capital Management. He also serves as chairman of Elbridge Capital Management, a fund established in Greece to invest in Greek small and medium enterprises. His community engagement here in the Greek American community involves memberships on the board of the National Hellenic Museum in Chicago and the Hellenic University Club of Philadelphia. But of course, most important of all, he's also on the board of directors of our American Hellenic Institute and has served us exceptionally well, and he's a tremendous asset for so many years. He holds a PhD and an MBA in finance from the University of Tennessee and a BS in electrical and mechanical engineering from the Metsovion Polytechnion of Athens, Greece. George, my good friend, it is an honor and a privilege to welcome you here to this webinar, and I leave it up to you to take us forward from this on. So the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Nick. Much appreciated. I was impressed with the presentation of our ambassador here, and of course, Ms. Alexandropoulou. One of the great things is that it seems that the international flows and bilateral flows exceeded $4 billion, which is a really milestone for Greece and the United States. But it seems to me that based on Ms. Alexandropoulou statements, there is a fertile environment for additional investments in Greece. And I cannot be more pleased than introducing the members of our panel. First of all, Mr. Iliadis, and of course, later on, I will introduce you to Mr. Kassimiotis. Mr. Iliadis is a seasoned professional. He has served in various executive roles in industry, but for 20 years now, he's leading the investment promotion aspects of the Enterprise Greece. He serves as a director, and he has coordinated and supervised so many visits abroad, promoting always investment opportunities and trade in Greece. In the last 4 years, he has facilitated a significant number of investments in key economic areas, sectors in Greece, and has indirectly created more than 4,000 jobs for the local market, but primarily is a great and enthusiastic spokesman of the Greek investment opportunities. I can't wait to introduce you to him. And Mr. Iliadis, you have the floor for a few minutes before we can have an interactive discussion. I want also to mention that after my discussion with Mr. Iliadis, I will ask Mr. Kasimiotis to introduce, to have the opportunity to introduce him and then have another dialogue. By the way, those participating in the webinar, please feel free to send me questions. I will be able to review them and ask the presenters. Mr. Iliadis, the floor is yours.
Good evening to everyone, both on the panel and, of course, to the participants of the webinar. Thank you very much for inviting us to discuss a very hot issue, the issue of Greece as a potential investment destination and the developments that have already taken place in the country. It's a great pleasure for me to be with you. Let me tell you that I serve at the Investment Promotion Directorate for 24 years, for almost 24 years, covering lately three very important business sectors, industry and manufacturing, supply chain and logistics, technology, and of course, innovation. This webinar gives me the opportunity to present strong arguments for the reasons why the title of today's event holds true. That is why Greece, after a decade, is truly transforming into a significant investment hub in the entire Southeast and Eastern Mediterranean region. And we at Enterprise Greece, the national organization for promoting and supporting foreign direct investments in the country, experience this on a daily basis. I wish everyone a very productive web event, and I'm ready to answer to your questions and have a fruitful discussion.
So, Mr. Iliadis, thank you very much. We have heard of new investments that have been made in Greece and with the foreign direct investments, of course. And can you share with us what are the key characteristics of those investments, the key features? And at the same time, can you provide some details about the sectors and that those investments have been taking place and the key driving forces that facilitated those investments?
Very good questions, and thank you very much for the opportunity to develop this as an argument. As I told you in the beginning, Greece has increasingly become an attractive investment destination for foreign direct investments, with recent trends showing a strong upward trajectory. Talking about those key characteristics for foreign investments in Greece lately, I would mention, first of all, the rising inflows. Greece has seen a surge in FDI influence over the past few years. Let me remind you that in 2022, FDI in Greece reached nearly 8 billion euro, which is an all-time record, especially since 2002, marking a substantial increase compared to previous years. 2023 was also a very successful year because FDI reached almost 5 billion euro, and according to the latest statistics coming from the official source, which is the Bank of Greece, for 2023, for 2024, the first quarter of 2024, we have a 10% increase in comparison with the same period last year, which means that we go on a very positive track even this year, 2024. Another very important characteristic, apart from the rising inflows, is a diverse investor base. And what I mean by that we have, the traditional investors from the European Union, especially Germany, France, the Netherlands, the United Kingdom, the US, and in recent years, what we also experience is that there has also been a growing interest from the Middle East countries as well. United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, and other countries of the Middle East region. Another very important characteristics and a very qualitative characteristics, I would say, is that we are moving into a period of what we call long-term investments, which was not the case in Greece. A notable feature a notable feature of foreign direct investment in Greece is that investors are increasingly engaging right now in long-term projects, especially in areas related to technology, infrastructure, manufacturing, smart manufacturing, and research and development. In other words, there's a significant quality shift, and this is recorded to recent surveys, official surveys published by Ernst & Young, a quality shift in the projects realized late in Greece, from traditional FDI focused previously on trade and representative offices, which was the usual case in previous years, and especially in years during the financial crisis. We have entered a period in which there is significant capital invested in the country in what we call knowledge-intensive and high-added value fields like research and development, artificial intelligence, machine learning, and innovation in general. I would say that this is the most important characteristics that we're facing right now in foreign direct investment. As far as the key sectors that we observe significant mobilization in foreign direct investment in Greece lately, I would mention renewable energy. Renewable energy is a leading sector which attracts FDI in Greece, particularly because we have abundant natural resources, especially in wind and solar. Greece has positioned itself as a regional leader in green energy. A second very important sector is tourism and real estate, because tourism, as you already know, is traditionally one of Greece's most significant economic drivers and the traditional engine of the Greek economy. There has been substantial investments in luxury hotels, resorts, and tourism infrastructure in general. The third very important sector is technology and digital transformation. Greece has been actively promoting itself as a growing tech hub in Europe during the last 5 years, especially. Investments in data centers, digital infrastructure. We have a very active startup community as well, have been gaining momentum. Large multinational companies, the previous speakers have already mentioned a few, like Microsoft, Amazon, Cisco, Entity Data, HP Enterprise, have invested in digital infrastructure and other digital services in the country. A fourth significant business sector is the one related to logistics and infrastructure and supply chain. And here we have one very big advantage. Greece stands at the crossroads of 3 continents connected, Europe, Asia, and Africa, which means that it's a very strategic location, and lately has attracted considerable foreign investments in ports, airports, and logistics, and I would mention a few good examples. Pharmaceuticals and healthcare, which is one of the most important industrial sectors in Greece. The pharmaceutical sector has witnessed significant foreign direct investment driven by Greece's highly skilled workforce and strong academic research institutions. Major international pharmaceutical companies and very good local companies have established production facilities and research centers in the country. So these are the main sectors that attract foreign direct investments in Greece, especially during the last 5 years and after Greece exiting the bailout program. Talking about now, if I remember well, the last part of your question was about the key drivers for attracting investors in Greece. I would mention, of course, economic stability and recovery. We managed to gain this bid. I would say that after a decade of economic crisis and structural reforms, and after a very strict bailout program, Greece has returned back to growth. We have a significant GDP growth right now and reduced debt levels and reduced deficit levels as well. These reforms have improved the business climate and investors' confidence, and you can understand. And the countries, of course, to this one should add that the countries is part of Eurozone, which provides macroeconomic stability and access to the broader European market. Yep. The second key driver is government incentives and reforms. The Greek government has implemented a series of pro-business reforms, including tax cuts and reduction of dividend tax rates for corporations, simplified bureaucratic procedures, and measures to streamline licensing and investment processes. Additionally, as we all know, Greece's membership in the European Union provides access to EU funding and investment programs.
Yeah.
I would mention three more drivers: the strategic location, which is by definition a core advantage of Greece; the growing renewable energy market, which has set ambitious targets to become a key player in renewable energy, aiming to derive a large percentage of its energy from renewable sources by 2030; and last but not least, the biggest advantage of the country. The biggest advantage of the country is its highly educated workforce. Greece has a well-educated and skilled workforce, particularly in sectors like ICT, engineering, and pharmaceuticals. This talent pool, combined with competitive labor costs compared to other EU countries, makes our country an attractive location for businesses looking to establish, especially research and development and new innovative production facilities.
And Mr. Iliadis, one thing that it became apparent in your discussion when you described different sectors, with the exception of real estate, I would say, is the knowledge-intensive investment.
Yeah.
Can you provide us with some names very quickly, and also share with us what do you think are the factors that led investors in those areas, such as technology, innovation, etc., to invest in Greece? Your perspective on that.
Yes, I would mention very renowned corporations, very renowned examples that actually proves what I said previously, this quality shift towards knowledge-intensive and high added value investment. I would mention the very well-known investments realized by Microsoft, which has invested in a new data center region in Athens, which is part of its global cloud infrastructure expansion. I would mention about the great investment of Pfizer in the northern part of the country, which has established a major digital innovation hub. I would refer to the entrance of Amazon Web Services, which launched an edge location for its cloud services. HP Enterprise, we have Mr. Kassimiotis with us. He will talk about this investment in more detail, which established the Global Center of Excellence in the field of artificial intelligence and machine learning in Greece. Of course, Google, which announced the establishment of the Google Innovation Center for Sustainability in Greece as part of its initiative to support the country's digital and green transition. We have the entrance of the Japanese NTT Data, which announced the development of a digital innovation center in Athens. This investment aims to develop solutions for digital transformation and innovation, offering services in areas such as artificial intelligence, data analytics, and cybersecurity. And of course, we should not forget Cisco, which inaugurated the International Center for Innovation in Thessaloniki. I refer mainly to technological investments and investments focusing on R&D and innovation, because this is the sector I'm covering most at Enterprise Greece, and we have a track record of these very, very renowned investments in the country. So the factors, those factors that drive these companies to invest in Greece, I would mention again that the most important factor, the first and most important factor, is the skilled workforce. Let me point out, just to give you an overview of some figures, because it's very, very important to understand the advantage in a greater detail. Greece boasts a highly educated talent pool, particularly in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, what we call STEM fields. 46.4% of the total labor force in Greece has a higher education degree. And this is not said by Enterprise Greece. This is said by the National Statistics Authority. 7% of this percentage has a master's degree or a PhD degree. And the key areas of university education by Greeks is engineering, medicine and health services, economics, ICT, law, physics, and maths. 25% of the active population in the country holds a STEM degree, which is well above the OECD average, which stands at 22%. So we all understand that all these figures, which come from global renowned organizations, prove that Greece has a unique talent pool for
And-
all
and-
these investments.
Mr.
This is
Elias,
the first important driving factor.
Yeah.
The second factor is the geopolitical stability, which I referred to that previously. The third is the government reforms and incentives. We have a government which is dedicated to proceed to reforms and create a pro-business, pro-investment environment. We have a location which stands, as I said previously, at the crossroads of three continents. And of course, as far as technology is concerned, we have a growing tech ecosystem in the country, a significant tech ecosystem in the country. And just to put it in a very, in another way, the financial crisis of the previous decade was, the bad side of the coin, but the other side of the coin, because every bad situation has its good side. The good side of the coin is that this fiscal crisis of the previous decade opened the way for young people to sit down, bring new ideas, create new startup companies, and create a new tech ecosystem in the country, which focuses on digital transformation, innovation, and creates a favorable environment for tech and research companies.
and
These are the five factors, sorry.
Mr. Elias, as I understand, there is a lot of good flow of investments in Greece. And of course, you have been the cheerleader of working with prospective investors. Can you share with us the mechanism that Enterprise Greece is using to facilitate those investments? Because, if there is a good infrastructure, a lot of good investments can be taking place in Greece.
Yes. Yes. Let me tell you that Enterprise Greece, of course, is not a new organization. We have a long history. The Enterprise Greece, under a different brand name, has been established since 1996. Our previous name was Hellenic Center for Investment. We had a very big re-engineering project in 2008 where we created the Invest in Greece agency, and now we tried to unite export trade and investment under the same roof, so we created Enterprise Greece. So Enterprise Greece plays a dual role. It promotes Greece as an attractive destination for investments and facilitates the implementation of investment projects. Let me tell you that our services span across the investment life cycle, from the very early exploration stage to product implementation and completion. And I would give you an idea of the key services we offer. First of all, we provide market insights, which means that Enterprise Greece offers comprehensive information on the investment climate in Greece, including legal, regulatory, and tax framework. We provide investors with guidance, and we receive from us insights into specific sectors such as tourism, energy, technology, agribusiness, logistics, food and beverage, pharmaceuticals, allowing them to identify areas of high growth potential. And we provide to them specific investment opportunities because we maintain a significant investment portfolio under the investment promotion department, which means that we can match their interest with projects we have in our portfolio. In terms of facilitating their entrance in the market, we provide what we call one-stop shop services, which means that we simplify what we call the red tape process by acting as a single point of contact for all administrative procedures required to initiate and execute an investment. This service helps to streamline approvals, licensing, and compliance with regulation. We assist investors in finding suitable locations, land, or facilities tailored to the business needs, providing a database of investment opportunities and properties. And we connect them with key stakeholders, such as regional authorities, municipalities, and local business communities to ease their market entry.
And
of
thank you
course-
very much. Thank you very much for providing all these wonderful services that offered by the organization. I think it will be appropriate at this moment to introduce Mr. Kassimiotis, who can talk specifically about his experience in the process of bringing Hewlett-Packard Enterprise in Greece. And it gives me a great privilege to introduce him. He joined HP in 1994 as a manager. Then he was assigned in various positions, but from 2007 to 2013 was assigned to the position of sales manager for the enterprise group, and then to the technology services group of Hewlett-Packard in Greece and Cyprus. Mr. Kassimiotis, you may have the floor to share us what made HP to be interested in Greece and what has been done so far.
Thank you, Mr. Tsesekos, for the opportunity to share with you and the audience what we have done. First of all, I believe that there's no reason, let's say, to introduce HP. It's a very well-known American company established back in 1939 in the US in Palo Alto. And since 2015, the company has split into two, let's say, different companies, HP Corporation and Hewlett-Packard Enterprise, which I represent. As a company, we work, let's say, in order to produce technology that advance the way people live and work. Our strategy has three pillars, and I'm mentioning this because it's relevant to what I will show as our investment action in Greece. The first one is related to edge, where, let's say, the experience of humans take place as professionals, or in our social life. The second is the hybrid cloud and all these technologies that help us process the best way, in an optimized way, data created at the edge or in the core. And the third one is data itself, which is the most critical element, where we are trying to develop technologies that will help humanity to take the best out of this data and create new experiences. So the last one is directly related to AI. Practically, we talk about AI when we talk about data. And this is where the investment we did in Greece, which is an investment purely on the human capital and specialized labor, we did. So back in May 23, we introduced, after, let's say, some in-depth search worldwide, a center of excellence in AI and machine learning. Actually, it's a part of the HP Labs, global HP Labs. This means that the engineers we brought inside create technology that then is exported all over the world through the solutions that Hewlett-Packard Enterprise creates and sells to its customers. So our investment is not investment in some big data centers or, let's say, some special infrastructure. It's an investment directly to the human capital that we managed to find in Greece. And we had some good reasons to, let's say, to look in Greece. And I can mention some of the factors that we tried, let's say, to identify in Greece. If you want, I can, let's say, mention some of these, or we can interact, let's say, to.
One of the key things however, that I would like to ask you is that in your efforts to bring this investment to Greece, I'm sure you face some challenges. Can you share with us what were those kind of difficulties or challenges to convey that you were able to resolve discussing this with HP, but also with the Greek government?
Okay, in our case, because we created, let's say, human intensive, let's say, lab in Greece, the biggest problem or the biggest challenge was, let's say, the fact that we're coming from, let's say, a small in population country, and in turn, a small market. So usually when companies are, let's say, looking to find talents, are looking mainly to the big markets. For example, in India. India having a huge population and many more, let's say, students than Greece is the first, for example, place to identify this kind of specialized resources. However, I believe that when you cannot provide the quantity, you can focus on the quality. Mr. Eliadis already mentioned some very interesting things and very valid things about the Greek talent. So what we have realized is that in Greece, we can identify very good researchers. Actually, they are called, let's say, elite researchers, which can be very competitive in the worldwide scale. There is a research coming from the Marco Polo Institute, which is, again, a US firm, measuring, let's say, the advance of AI researchers in Europe. And surprisingly enough, Greece appears on this list as the third, let's say, ranked country providing this kind of elite researchers after Germany and France. This is the result of, let's say, of our students, let's say, coming to some extent equipped, but really ready to expand themselves, to evolve themselves in these new technologies. So I wouldn't mention many difficulties we faced because as a company, we exist in Greece for more than 40 years out of the 80 years of history of the company worldwide. So we are quite experienced in the Greek, let's say, reality. However, I have to say that having, let's say, the willingness of the government, having experience, having felt all this will to make something different in the years to come. And having an organization that, for me, because I'm many years in the company, I have been here for more than 30 years. So I have watched and I have realized all the difficulties in the Greek market and all the bureaucracy coming usually with the governmental institutions or the governmental authorities. It's the first time that I feel that we have a place like Enterprise Greece that you can refer to and take the right answer to the right question. So I believe that this is a guide. So I wouldn't mention any special difficulty we faced. The most critical difficulty was at the beginning to attract the attention of the company to look at us and not to other places in the world, or to look at us equally.
And one of the things is that you've been in Greece, as you mentioned, for many years. Do you anticipate the institutional environment and the business setting in Greece to be equally supportive as it has been so far for you?
Yes. I would like to, first of all, to mention some additional factors on top of the talent pool that may be relevant to your question. And I would say that one of the things that we have experienced or we have realized that during the last years is the collaboration opportunities existing in the Greek market. We see collaboration even between, let's say, academia and the companies, or between the companies. So there is this new, let's say, sense of need for collaboration between different bodies. Then, as a country, in these specialized engineers I mentioned before, we can provide a very, let's say, attractive cost, or I could mention that we are very cost attractive to the investors. As an example, in the team we established, we are not that expensive like US, but of course not equally, let's say, cheap to compared to India. But we are in between. So the price performance in our sector is, I would say, excellent. Then the strategic location in our industry, in the technology industry, when you have to do with data, this is also relevant because of latency issues. So it's not a coincidence that so many data centers are introduced to Greece, which is sitting in the center of, let's say, 3 continents. Government support was already mentioned, and of course, adequate infrastructure. And I'm referring here mainly to digital infrastructure that is a prerequisite for us. So I would say that the environment is supportive, and because the economy, all the economies in the world, will be measured and will be benchmarked to their ability to adapt to all these new technologies, I could not think anything else than, let's say, the continuation of the existing, growing, and positive environment.
And as I understand, you really feel very positive about the future growth opportunities, I suspect, as well as the continuation of a very positive business environment for future investments in Greece. I
Yes,
suspect
and
this describes your view as well.
yes, and Elias previously, I think that he described some of the sectors with the risk of repeating some of them. In our industry, I believe that as a digital company and as a company bringing, let's say, digital transformation and, let's say, bringing the change on how operations, let's say, companies operate in the new era, we can bring this momentum to many sectors. So it's not only the software development, let's say, the AI-related engineering that we represent. I would mention the tourism, let's say the hospitality industry, which already has introduced some of these digital advances that create, let's say, new experience for their host. Cultural and creative industries, I could refer to the agricultural technology, which can help, let's say, the modern growth of the agricultural industry in Greece, renewable energy and sustainability, maritime and shipping. So in all these sectors, because of their relevance and the support they take from all this AI revolution, I could see that Greece can not only compete, but pioneer in the future, because exactly of the talents we can put in the fight. And this is a global fight, this is a global game. Okay, so I believe that is the first time in our history that without having the reach of, let's say, infrastructure or, let's say, other related frameworks that bigger countries have, we can compete equally. And because of this, let's say, good quality and the talents and the temperament of the Greek people, I believe that we can compete and pioneer.
And we have just 1 minute for the last question from you, Mr. Kassimiotis. Given your experience, being involved in this great investment of HPE, what would you advise? If you provide just one piece of advice to someone who wants to enter the Greek market with a foreign direct investment, what would have been this one piece of advice that you would provide to this candidate, so to speak, that is considering seriously the Greek institutional setting, the Greek business environment?
The quick answer is please refer to Enterprise Greece. And Enterprise Greece can bring you to the right answer. But I would say that first define, let's say, watch and define the sectors that, let's say, have already shown some initial, let's say, signs of growth, and try to predict what will happen in the next 5 to 10 years. I believe now it's the time to, let's say, to increase, let's say, this population of companies that have already done this.
Thank you very much. I do have a very quick question, and I hope we have only 30 seconds to respond to this question from the audience. Do we have more information about the National Recovery and Resilience Plan, and where is this available? It has been legislated, I guess, and I think it's a question to Mr. Iliadis. How can we refer more information about this specific investment plan that is supported by the European Union? Mr. Iliadis, we cannot hear you very quickly.
Sorry about that. I was muted. Sorry. Let me tell you that the EU National Recovery and Resilience Plan, as you may know, is part of the European Union's Next Generation EU initiative, an almost 750 billion euro recovery package designed to support EU countries. For Greece, the total budget is estimated to, not is estimated, the total budget is almost 36 billion euro. And the RRF is structured around 4 priority pillars: green transition, digital transformation, employment skills and social cohesion, and private investment. So there is a dedicated website which is called Greece 2.0, where there is a very detailed presentation of how the RRF plan works. You can see there the projects that can be funded or have been funded already. And you see that the RRF provides different, let's say, financing schemes stemming from grants to favorable loans. So there is a very clear-cut description through the website of Greece 2.0, where you can see the budget devoted in these 4 priority pillars I just mentioned: green transition, digital transformation, employment, skills, social cohesion, and private investments.
Thank
and
you,
then
Mr.
can see how
Iliad.
you can apply.
I'm sorry. Thank you, Mr. Iliadi. I appreciate Greece 2.0 is the answer, and it's available via the web. Mr. Kasimiotis, I'm very appreciative for sharing your views, and I'm turning it back to Mr. Nick Laringakis.
Well, thank you, George. I just have one question before we close out here, and that is to Mr. Iliadis. Is there a minimum investment that is required for Enterprise Greece to be involved in with a potential investor?
No. There's no minimum investment for potential investor. As a policy, we are open to all investors and to all budgets. However, when we are talking about strategic investment projects, because we referred previously about the fast track framework, the strategic investment framework, then we're talking about specific thresholds and specific investment categories which must fulfill specific quantitative and qualitative criteria. But I'm talking about large-scale investment projects which should fulfill, as I said, specific prerequisites. There are different investment scale categories, investment scales. However, when an investor addresses his or her interest to Enterprise Greece, we do not ask the amount of money is about to invest in the country. So we are open to all, and we serve all requests and interests.
Well, with that, I thank you very much, Mr. Iliadis, and we've come close now to that time where we must sign off. But of course, I want to thank again our speakers here today, Mr. Iliadis and Mr. Kasimiotis. Of course, the great job of our moderator, Dr. Tsitsekos. We certainly thank the ambassador of Greece to the United States, Ambassador Nassika, for being with us earlier. And from my end, I also, of course, want to thank the great colleagues at Enterprise Greece that we worked with to put together this panel discussion here today. Stella Economitsiou, Vaso Kirkou, Lina Ioannou, Panos Halavazis, and from my AHI staff, Yola Papchanian, Alexander Christopher, and Zach Kotronakis. Today was a teaser regarding those who are listening, who are thinking of going in and investing in Greece. I think the opportunity is great. We heard all the various issues today of why one should consider investing in Greece. So Greece is open for business, ladies and gentlemen. And maybe we didn't talk about it enough, but it's not a matter of just doing business just in Greece itself, but Greece also presents itself as a platform for the entire region of the Balkans and potentially the Middle East as well to do business also. So that is something to be considering as well. But that is it for today. Ladies and gentlemen who joined us, we thank you for being with us today, and we look forward for another one of our panel presentations here at the American Hellenic Institute in the future. Once again, I thank each and every one of you, and I especially thank Enterprise Greece for this wonderful cooperation and putting together this panel. Wishing everyone a good afternoon and a good day. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We thank you very much.